Hey everybody, welcome back to Esoteric Ramblings. I'm Jesse Arnold, and today is Comic Haul Rundown Week 16, April 21st, 2021. Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming along and watching. I'm a day late posting the comic review, or maybe I'm on time, I don't know, because I don't know if I always get these out on Wednesdays anymore. That said, this was a huge week of books. Lots of stuff I got, and a lot of stuff I didn't. So if there's anything I'm not reviewing that you think is worth checking out, or you'd like to see my opinions on, let me know. I was able to get a copy of Geiger. Someone asked about that a couple weeks ago. I've not read it yet, but I will get to that eventually in one of my other reviews coming up. So, do things a little different this week, and I'm going to try to remember to do this in the future. If there's a new number one, be it a mini series, a new ongoing series, I will do those first, then the normal rundown, then my cover of the week, and then the top three. So, since there's so much to cover, I'm just going to jump right into this and start off with, we've got two new number ones this week, or I got two new number ones this week. I know there were others that I did not get. And they are both from Marvel, and both are ones I've been looking forward to see where we go. One is continuing on a storyline that has been going on. I'm just going to get into it here. Mighty Valkyries, number one, is following the story of Jane Foster and the other Valkyries that we saw during the Valkyries miniseries for King in Black, which was actually a really cool miniseries. I really enjoyed that. Jason Aaron is writing this, and let's see, written by Jason Aaron and Torun Grønbekk, and story. The artist is Mattia de Ulis. I really should look up how to pronounce these names before I do these videos. And then Torun Grønbekk wrote the backup story in this with Erica D'Urso on art. And the art in this book is absolutely gorgeous. Both the main series and the backup. And it's really cool because we get to see and learn the name of the Valkyrie that is based off of, or inspired by, the Tessa Thompson Valkyrie from Thor Ragnarok, which they've brought into the MC, or into the Marvel Comics now, and we get to learn her name, which she's not had a name, at least not that I recall. I don't read everything Thor related these days, but to me that was a big reveal, and it was a cool backup story. So I'm really excited to see where the backup story goes, and the main event itself is also great. Jason Aaron writing stuff for Thor is, or in the Thor universe, is just absolute great reading. Up next is Way of X. It's the newest number one X-Men from Cy Spurrier and Bob Quinn on writing and art details. This focuses on Nightcrawler, and it sets up not a new villain, but we're introduced to a new adversary, or a new threat has come to Krakoa and the mutants. And I gotta admit, this one's really interesting because Nightcrawler's always been a man of faith. He's a very devout Catholic, and in one of the earlier issues of the X books after Dawn of X and Powers of 10, he talked about possibly starting a mutant religion. And this is kind of more in-depth into his thoughts on that, and it's really interesting. Being a person of faith myself, not Catholic, but just more run-of-the-mill generic Christian, I guess. It's interesting to see some of these thoughts, because I don't see a lot of this in Marvel Comics anymore. Daredevil's Catholic, and he's got the guilt and all of that. Nightcrawler has always been a person of faith, despite looking like a demon and all of that, so I've always really admired that about him. So this is just a really interesting issue, a really... it questions a lot of things. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good first issue. It's very heady, and, it's not just action superhero heroics. So it's really good. I really liked it, and we'll definitely be coming back for the next issues to see how this story builds up and shapes and what this does for Nightcrawler, because as I've said many times on this, I'm not super thrilled with this whole Dawn of X, Reign of X era. But there are still good stories being told, and the art on all of these books is amazing. And it's not necessarily that the stories are being poorly written. I just don't like the choices that the storytellers are making to tell. I still read all of the issues, and they definitely carry me through issue to issue. It's just, yeah. Okay, moving on. Amazing Spider-Man number 64 is the next part of the King's Ransom storyline, in which Spider-Man and Boomerang are tracking down the tablets of life and fragments of the tablets of life and death, or something like that. It's a fun issue again. I really like the artwork in this. The tension between a lot of the side characters is great. We've got Madame Mask is in here, Tombstone, all sorts of great stuff. So, and I really like the art. Vincenti, Federico Vincenti on art. Nick Spencer still writing. So yeah, I'm still enjoying Spider-Man, and yeah. Avengers 45 is a King in Black tie-in, even though that event has pretty much wrapped up. This was interesting. This almost landed on the top 3. Not a huge follower of Blade in the comics. I've seen all the movies, and but it's fun seeing his take, especially because they've been building up the stuff with Dracula and the Vampire Nation in this series. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of that coming to a head soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of that has to do with this Heroes Reborn that's coming. Or this new version of Heroes Reborn, where Blade's the only one that remembers his reality. So yeah, I'll be curious to see how that gets all set up. I think that's coming pretty soon. Up next is Captain Marvel 28. Following her hookups from the previous issue leads to awkward conversations. And one of the things, I know I've said this before, is I really like when I get to see these superheroes be just normal people. And seeing her and Jess, Spider-Woman, go visit Doctor Strange after Carol and Doctor Strange hooked up in the last issue, it was just really interesting and funny and awkward, and it was delightful. And seeing her try to learn magic to prevent a thing, it's very much a Carol move. It's very well told, very well written. Love the art. This, again, almost landed the top 3. But there's a couple other ones that just went a little bit above for me this week. I'm going to admit I did not read Catwoman yet. There's a lot of books. I've had a lot going on. I did not get to read this, but I'm definitely loving the Joelle Jones cover on the art here. And I definitely want to check this out. I just haven't gotten to it yet. The whole criminal underworld side of Gotham and things just isn't usually my whole cup of tea. Not that I like tea in general or hot beverages at all, but I will get back to this, and I will mention it in next week's video, or if I do a video that mentions Geiger or anything, I will get to that, I promise. So apologies to creative teams on this. I did not get to read it yet. I'm sure you're all watching it devastated. Eternals number 4. This is not an easy book to read, and I don't say that as an insult or a compliment or a complaint. But it's a lot of fun. One of my favorite lines in recent comics is in this book. You're kind of getting narrated to by Earth, the machine that is Earth, and it has some really great dialogue in regards to humans and people and things, and I absolutely loved it. So this is a really good series. It takes a lot of attention. This is not just again, like Way of X, it's not just a breeze through it action comic. You got to be thinking when you read Eternals. Sword number 5. I remember being introduced to Fabian Cortez in the X-Men when they relaunched the number 1 and split the team into the blue and the gold teams back in 91. And yeah, it's funny. It's been funny watching him struggle to maintain his position or where he thinks he belongs. And you have almost a similar scene to John Walker in the last week's episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he's before the Quiet Council. This was pretty good. I like that issue a lot. Women of Marvel, number 1. Now, I did not do this with the other number 1s because it is a one-shot. And this almost falls into the category, the way it's presented and the way this book is done, as one of the Marvel Voices books that we've been seeing over the last year or so. This is all written, drawn, all done by female creatives at Marvel. And there's a really nice introduction from Louise Simonson at the beginning. And this is a fun anthology, a bunch of short stories. Some of them are 1 pages, some of them are a couple pages. But yeah, this was definitely a lot of fun. If you like the female characters in the Marvel Universe, I highly recommend it. Or if you just like damn good storytelling, check out Women of Marvel number 1 from a lot of different creative teams. And the last one in the regular countdown is X-Force number 1. We've got Jean and Quentin and Phoebe trying to deal with the big threat of the kind of like dark version of Quentin that has been haunting everybody in this series, or the last couple issues. So we will see where this goes. This issue was pretty fun again. They've been able to do some things with Quentin that have made him more interesting to me. He's still not a favorite or one I'm super into, but the story was interesting that I was usually looking forward to each episode or issue of this storyline. So, all right. Second but not least is my cover of the week. Again, a book I did not read yet, but that's okay because this is my cover of the week. The Jenny Frison alternate cover to Catwoman. Catwoman number 30. This is just a gorgeous cover. I love the subdued color tones, the expressions, everything about this is what makes a great character-focused comic cover great. All right, top 3. Number 3 for the week is Justice League number 60. Brian Michael Bendis, Ram V, Dave Marquez, I think, is the artist. DC never keeps their titles in the same place. This is a great story. I really like this. We've got Naomi coming in to play more with the Justice League. They're introducing new team members, and just seeing them kind of stare and talk, being more human characters with each other is really great. Just some of the back and forth between Batman and Green Arrow and the other characters has been a lot of fun in these two, last issue and this one. So I'm really excited to be enjoying reading Justice League again. And then it's not as heavy or dark as the death metal storyline that has been going on for the last couple of years. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and I really like having Naomi on the team and some of the different characters they're bringing in. So Justice League, this has been really cool so far. The new storyline starts in Champions number 6. I like that they're continuing the series. It's not just a mini-series. Killer App starts, which they set up at the end of the last issue, where the Champions are still dealing with the fallout of Kamala's Law and the Outlawed storyline, but now there is an app that Roxxon is trying to use to manipulate the teenage hearts and minds. And now we've got number 1 for the week, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 116. Another story very Jennica focused, which I'm okay with. She is a great addition to the characters. Between her mini-series and the storyline in this has been really cool. It's building to her starting her band and all of that. So yeah, again, TMNT takes the top spots. I don't want to speak too much more, but this is a great issue of one of the best comic series I've read in a long time. So that is it. That is my Comic Haul rundown for week 16, 2021. April 21st. Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all later for Falcon and the Winter Soldier final episode, and maybe I'll get to watch what's that new movie Mortal Kombat and throw that up there as well as a review. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Ramble on.